Kyrie eleison.
Hello, and welcome back to the Catholic Workers Podcast. We're happy to have you join us. Today, we're turning our focus to a practice as old as humanity's relationship with the earth, yet ever renewing in its relevance: building community gardens. These green oases in our urban and suburban landscapes are far more than just plots of land for growing food. They're powerful catalysts for health, education, economic relief, and most importantly, community building. Our discussion today will unfold in three interwoven sections. First, we'll unearth the rich history of community gardens, tracing their roots through times of economic hardship and national effort. Second, we'll delve into the profound connection between our Catholic faith and nature, exploring how our theological tradition calls us to be stewards of creation. Finally, we'll examine the myriad benefits of community gardens and provide practical guidance on how to cultivate one in your own community. The concept of shared garden spaces is far from new. Throughout history, community gardens have emerged as powerful responses to economic hardship, social need, and even national crises, demonstrating remarkable resilience and ingenuity. One of the earliest and most celebrated examples in the United States is Pingree's potato patch, which began in Detroit in 1894. Sparked by the severe panic of 1893, which left thousands jobless and hungry, Detroit's then mayor, Hazen S. Pingree, proposed a radical solution. He convinced landowners to let the city use vacant lots to create gardens, distributing seeds and tools to the unemployed. This initiative transformed 430 acres of unused land into productive plots, empowering the jobless to grow their own food. The success of Pingree's potato patch was widely recognized and quickly copied in major cities across the nation, from Boston to San Francisco, as a practical and dignified response to urban poverty. Beyond immediate economic relief, gardens have long been integrated into education. School gardens, for instance, have a rich history of teaching children not just about botany and environmental stewardship, but also about the dignity of labor, the basics of economics, and the cycles of nature. For many low income families, these gardens have also served a crucial role in providing fresh, nutritious food, supplementing diets, and fostering healthier eating habits. Perhaps one of the most widespread surges in community gardening occurred during wartime. During World War I, the National War Garden Commission reported that by 1917, there were 3.5 million war gardens across America, collectively growing an astonishing $350 million worth of crops. That's roughly $9.6 billion in today's money. The impact was even greater during World War II, when between 18 to 20 million families cultivated what became known as victory gardens. These homes and community plots contributed significantly, providing an estimated 40% of the vegetables consumed in America during the war years. These efforts not only boosted national morale, but also freed up commercial produce for the troops and helped alleviate food strains on the food supply. Community gardens also continued to provide essential food security during the harsh years of the Great Depression. For us as Catholic workers, community gardens are not just a practical solution to social and economic challenges. They're a profound expression of our faith and our theological understanding of creation. Our tradition calls us to be diligent stewards of the earth, our common home. From the very beginning, the Bible emphasizes humanity's special relationship with creation. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, God places humanity in the Garden of Eden specifically to, quote, cultivate and take care of it, end quote. This is our primary command, to be co-creators and caretakers of God's gift. The wisdom literature and Psalms also frequently describe God's wisdom manifest in the natural world. Wisdom is often personified as a woman, which contrasts to other Near Eastern cultures that mediated wisdom through kings or scribes, is seen as speaking through the intricate beauty and order of creation. The Church Fathers eloquently articulated this connection. St. Irenaeus of Lyon famously taught that the initial step for a soul to come to knowledge of God is contemplation of nature. The natural world is, in essence, our first catechism, revealing the Creator's grandeur and goodness. Perhaps no saint embodies this reverence more profoundly than St. Francis of Assisi, widely considered to be the patron saint of ecology. His deep kinship with all creatures, from the sun and moon to birds and wolves, highlights a harmonious relationship with creation that transcends mere utility. Similarly, St. Thomas Aquinas taught that God, as essential goodness, communicated varying degrees of goodness to creatures, each with its own nature and purpose. Every part of creation, from the smallest plant to the grandest mountain, reflects a piece of God's goodness and deserves our respect and care. In more recent times, papal teachings have increasingly emphasized the urgency of environmental stewardship. Pope Paul VI, in his 1971 encyclical Octogesima Adveniens, presciently warned, man is suddenly becoming aware that by an ill-considered exploitation of nature he risks destroying it, and becoming in his turn the victim of this degradation. This is a wide-ranging social problem which concerns the entire human family. Pope John Paul II, in his 1990 World Day for Peace message, observed, quote, "Today, the dramatic threat of ecological breakdown is teaching us the extent to which greed and selfishness, both individual and collective, are contrary to the order of creation, an order which is characterized by mutual interdependence." End quote. He further noted in Centesimus Annus that, quote, "At the root of the senseless destruction of the natural environment lies an anthropological error, which unfortunately is widespread in our day," end quote, highlighting humanity's disordered desire to have and enjoy rather than to be and to grow. Pope Benedict XVI continued this tradition, stating, "The environment is God's gift to everyone. In our use of it, we have a responsibility towards the poor, towards future generation, and towards humanity as a whole." And of course, Pope Francis in Laudato Si, his landmark encyclical on care for our common home, said, "The urgent challenge to protect our common home includes a concern to bring the whole human family together to seek a sustainable and integral development." Community gardens are a tangible way to live out these teachings. They're small acts of integral ecology where we not only cultivate the earth, but also cultivate community, recognizing our interconnectedness with both nature and one another. The historical and theological foundations for community gardens are robust. Now let's explore their tangible benefits and how you can actually bring one to life in your own neighborhood. The advantages of community gardens are extensive, touching on various aspects of well being. For example, health benefits from activity. Engaging in gardening provides much needed physical exercise, from digging and planting to water and harvesting. Research indicates that gardening contributes positively to psychological, social, and physical health, reducing stress and promoting overall well being. There are also health benefits from better foods. Gardens directly increase the availability and consumption of fresh vegetables and fruits. This improved diet leads to better nutrition and can significantly enhance public health outcomes. Food availability in food deserts. For communities located in food deserts or areas with limited access to affordable, nutritious food, community gardens offer a vital local source of fresh produce, bridging critical gaps in food access. It also lowers costs for households. Growing your own food, even partially, can lead to lower food costs for participating households, providing direct economic relief, especially for those with limited incomes. So, how do you get one going in your community? The process, while requiring effort, is straightforward. First, you need to find a space. And the first step is to identify a suitable location, typically an empty or underutilized lot. Partnerships with local government, churches, or private landowners can often secure space. Next, you should plan the space. You should gather community members to design the garden layout, deciding on shared plots versus individual plots, pathways, common areas, and water access. Next, you should codify rules. Establish clear rules and guidelines for garden use, plot maintenance, sharing, and decision making to ensure harmonious coexistence among gardeners. After that, buy materials. Acquire all necessary materials like soil, compost, seeds, tool, fencing, and lumber for raised beds if desired. And finally, keeping in mind you should build what's needed. Organize work days to build garden beds, install irrigation, construct tool sheds, and prepare the soil for planting. The initial cost to localities for establishing a community garden is relatively modest, typically ranging from $3,500 to $7,500 depending on size and infrastructure. This investment yields significant returns in community well-being, health, and local food security. This can be a cheap but effective way for municipal governments to invest in their populations for the future. Community gardens are a truly remarkable example of grassroots efforts that cultivate not just food, but also relationships, resilience, and a deeper connection to our environment. They embody the Catholic call to solidarity and responsible stewardship, transforming neglected spaces into vibrant hubs of life and learning. Building a community garden is an act of hope and a powerful way to put our faith into action. It's about recognizing the dignity of every person, cultivating our common home, and fostering a truly flourishing community. Before we conclude, we would be grateful for your support in a few straightforward ways. If you enjoyed this episode of the Catholic Workers Podcast, please subscribe to our podcast on your preferred platform. This helps new listeners discover our content. If you have a moment, kindly leave us a rating and a review. Your feedback is invaluable and assists in expanding our reach. Finally, we're a listener-supported podcast, and every contribution helps in continuing to produce these conversations. You can find us on Ko-fi. Simply search for the Catholic Workers Podcast or refer to the show notes for a direct link. Your support helps cover our production costs and sustains the podcast. Thank you immensely for listening. We invite you to join us next time as we continue to explore how our faith compels us to build a more just and equitable world.
Kyrie